Okay, this video we're going to be having a look at a question 17 on a WJC additional maths paper from June 2015. So these are fairly common on the papers. Show and all your work and simplify each of the following, and we have two expressions that involve indices. Now, they look very similar, but they're actually testing two different sets of skills, and it's based on the signs there in between. So this is a multiplication, and this one is an addition, which means we have to approach them two different ways. The multiplication is your more standard sort of question, because you know when you multiply things that have the same base, which in this case they're both x's, then we can add the powers together, but we have to have the 5 times the 4 involved as well, so we end up with 5 times 4 is 20, so we're multiplying these together. So I'll do the number part first. 5 times 4 is 20, and then x to the 5/8 multiplied by x to the 3/8. We're going to add those two powers together. So 5/8 plus 3/8 will give us 8/8, which is 1. So it's x to the power of 1, which is just 20x. Divide that by x to the power of 2/3. Now, dividing things that have the same base, you subtract the powers. So that's 1, x to the power of 1. Take away the 2/3 from the x to the 2/3, which just leaves you with 1/3. So that will leave me with 20 x to the 1/3. Okay, that's how you do the multiplication. The addition one is different, because when you're adding terms that involve letters, we can only add them together if they have the same powers. So you can't add x plus x squared to give me 2x squared. It doesn't work because the powers are different. They're different types of terms. Same thing here. So what we have to do is we have to split this one up into two separate fractions. So we can split this up as 6x to the quarter over 3x to the quarter plus 3x to the 3/4 over 3x to the quarter. Okay, now this would work because we're just doing a backward step to normal. Normally, if we had two fractions that had the same denominator, like we have here, then we would leave the denominator as it was and add the two top numbers together. And if that happened, we'd end up there. So we're just doing this a slightly backward step to help us make a bit more sense in order to simplify. So now we can simplify. So in the first fraction, we got 6 divided by 3, which is 2. And then x to the quarter divided by x to the quarter. When you're dividing something by itself, which is always 1, you could think of it like this. X to the quarter divided by x to the quarter is going to be x to the 1/4 minus 1/4. So when we divide, we subtract the powers, and that will give me x to the 0, and anything to the 0 is 1. So we get 2 times 1, which is 2. Plus, looking at the second one, we get the number 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then the powers, x to the 3/4 divided by x to the 1/4. We're going to subtract the powers, which will leave us with 2/4 or a half. So we're left with x to the power of a half.